Oh, guys, you know what? I want to hear your feedback. What do you guys think of backing tracks? What is your stance on backing tracks? Is it something that bothers you when you go to a show? Or can you, and there's nothing wrong with this, can you go to a show and just really, I don't care. I'm just here to have a good time. I want to dance. I want to hear my favorite song. I want to hear Shout at the Devil. And I don't care if they're singing or not. I'm here with my buddy, and we're going to freaking party. That's it. Okay, so now, since we're still in the music box area of Drumdums, somebody asked me earlier about the Motley Crue drama. We might as well talk about it, all right? The story with Motley Crue is John Five, who played for Rob Zombie, he played for Marilyn Manson in the past. Just a couple of months ago, I think, he took the place of Mick Mars. Mick Mars has had this spinal disease for, I would say, probably the last 30 years, since he was like 27 years old. And it's a miracle that the guy could still stand up and play. Because when you watch some of his shows, even like back in the 2000s, first off, he looks like he weighs 27 pounds. And secondly, he can't really move, He pretty much has to just kind of stand there holding his guitar, and it looks painful. It does look painful. As a guy that has had back problems in the past, and it's probably like 2% of the problems, the pain that Mick Mars has probably had, I can say holding a guitar all night would probably be stressful on the lower back. So, it's ankylosing spondylosis. And I know I butchered that. But, I mean, man, hats off to Mick Mars for being able to hack it all these years. And I'll say this, too, about Mick Mars. I think he is the secret ingredient of Motley Crue's sound in the 80s and 90s. He had such a signature guitar sound. And not only that, but he created some really tasty riffs, guitar riffs. And I think he's a big reason why Motley Crue wrote so many big hits, Even though, not to take anything away from Nikki Sixx wrote, I think, most of the songs. But, man, Mick Mars' guitar sound is highly underrated, okay? So, recently they put out a statement a few months ago that Mick Mars is bowing out for medical reasons. John Five is going to be stepping in. And as far as Mick coming back, I don't know if they actually stated. I think they said that maybe if they do any albums in the future, studio albums, maybe he would record, correct me if I'm wrong, some of you, but I think something like that was put out there. But it did seem like, it felt like there was more to this story. And I'll even say John Corabi, who was the singer for Motley Crue for the self-titled album in 94, stated, because he's friends with Mick Mars, that he thinks, he hasn't talked to Mick Mars, but he thinks there's more to the story, because he stated that they wanted Mick Mars out of the band a long time ago. Probably because of his medical issues. I don't know. So, anyway, just recently, it finally came out. Mick Mars has filed a lawsuit against Motley Crue. And I think it's a monetary thing, because I think Mick Mars, for the rest of this tour, was going to get a small percentage of the rest, which I think's fair if you're not playing. But, and he also dropped some tea, which this is no surprise to anybody, but he basically stated that Nikki Sixx hasn't played a lick of his bass the whole tour. It's all been backing tracks, pre-recorded backing tracks. And I think he even stated that there's backing tracks for Vince Neil, which that's shocking because he already sounds pretty bad. So with backing tracks, he sounds that bad. And there was a video of Tommy Lee rushing to his drum set. You can find it on YouTube, where the drums kick in before he is able to sit down and hit the stick against the snare. And hey, I'll say this: Tommy Lee's an amazing drummer, and I think still to this day he can play the hell out of the drums. I think this is so everybody can kind of stay in sync, because if you got 2 or 3 people using backing tracks and one guy's not using backing tracks, then there's a chance that something's gonna fall out of line, right? So I think if you're using it, then you're gonna use it too. And I think Mick Mars stated that he never even used any backing tracks. So it's an ugly mess. I'll give you my opinion on backing tracks first and foremost, because there was some controversy a few months ago with Eddie Trunk and the lead singer of Falling in Reverse, and Ronnie Radke. He was using laptops, and there was some confusion there, because Eddie Trunk was basically stating that you shouldn't have to use laptops, you shouldn't use backing tracks, and he had people jumping in his defense, like Sebastian Bach. And I will say, back, I saw a lot of these bands back in the 90s, and there were no laptops back then. And from what I heard, like I saw Slaughter, I saw Steelheart, I saw Kiss a few times, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. It always sounded live to me. I never heard any backing tracks or anything, okay? That doesn't mean they didn't use them back then, but you know what? You never heard any controversy of them back then, okay? So I don't think they were using them back then. And I'll even say I think there's a lot of bands today, like Metallica, that don't use backing tracks, okay? Now, I think there is a difference between backing tracks and using laptops, okay? Let me put that out there right now. I think in today's modern technology with bands and how light shows are bigger and better than ever. I saw Tool in concert 5 times. I would imagine in this day and age that you would probably need a laptop or some sort of program to run all that stuff. So I honestly have no problem with bands using laptops, nor do I have who am I anyway? Who cares what I say? But just my personal opinion, like if I was at a show right now seeing Falling in Reverse, and I look behind me and there's a guy controlling the lights and this and that, it's pretty much kind of like a soundboard, right? Of course that wouldn't bother me, as long as the band is actually playing their instruments and as long as Ronnie Radke is actually singing in the mic. That's my thing. I don't like going to a live show and knowing that the band is phoning it in, I don't like that at all. You can use your laptops all day. I got no problem with that, okay? Do what you got to do. That's part of concerts these days. And if I'm being honest, it enhances the show. Shows these days, they're more of an experience, not just the live music. It's a show. When I saw Tool in concert 5-6 times now, one, that band was playing live. I know that for a fact. Maynard's voice, it's so good and so clear, but you can still tell this is not like a studio track. Plus, if you really watch a singer at a mic and pay attention to what he's doing and when he steps away from the mic and when he comes into the mic, you can pretty much tell eventually if he's actually singing or not. And you would see Maynard like grab the mic and pull it right, and then he'd do his dance type thing. And if I had to put Vegas money on it, I'd say, yeah, that band's not using backing tracks. Are they using laptops? Probably. Okay. And I got no problem with that. So, but Motley Crue, to take it a step further, and I think at least half of the band is not actually playing their instruments, hang it up and retire, because I guarantee you most of your audience that you're playing for, I think most of them probably don't know that stuff. And I think some of them would probably be upset if you told them, hey guys, by the way, we're going to hit a play button and we're going to lip sync into the mic and we're going to air guitar this thing, okay? I think the fans would kind of get pissed, okay? I do have a hard time thinking that John 5 would actually accept using backing tracks for his guitar. Now, there's so many different factors that I could probably spend way too much time on this. Like if you have a single backing track for an effect or something like that, I don't care. That's not a big deal to me. But let's just say the core music, you know, the bass tracks, I want them live. Give me that, and you can skirt around it as much as you want. I don't really care, all right? But I'm not that hard to please. But I do want live music, okay? So I think you know where I'm coming from on that, all right? Like I said, I saw a lot of bands in the 90s, and as up to as far as, like, I think the last concert I saw was Rockville, and I saw Slipknot, and I guarantee you Slipknot's not using backing tracks, at least for the core instruments, okay? The bass tracks. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DD Live clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching, and if you want to watch more, you can go over here, you can go over here, click on one of those, and hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.